Good evening and welcome to the Qualk Show. Happy Saturday night. It's here. The moment we've all been waiting for, the talk that's been happening in the chat rooms, at the coffee tables, the ones that you're having with your friends and loved ones. We're talking about it tonight. We're talking about vaccines. Are you pro? Are you anti? And do you have anything that can back up either stance? We're going to jump right into it tonight because everybody has a lot to say about this subject. Out of all of the subjects that I have ever posted about or talked about on any of the pages that I'm affiliated with, this gets the highest response. This topic gets people going. So let's start with some stars that have gone on record whether they are pro or anti. Let's talk about Alicia Silverstone first. I think a lot of people know how outspoken she is on her stance. She's extremely anti-vaccine, stating opinions like there is all kinds of conclusive studies pointing to the negative effects of such a rigorous one-size-fits-all shoot-'em-up schedule. Why are these shots? This is where I want to start the conversation today, and we're just kind of use these to feed off of for the full half hour tonight. Why are the shots all together? That's one of the main questions and concerns, and not broken up. Would people be more pro-vaccine if they were not all given together and they didn't feel like their kids were getting this onslaught of chemicals?
I actually think in some ways, I think a lot of quote unquote anti-vaxxers would do them more because they've never been tested together. There is actually, in other countries, Ireland, for example, they have a few vaccines that are available separately. They have been tried here, but unfortunately they're not as profitable for pharmaceutical companies. And so we, unfortunately, a lot of doctors' offices don't provide those, and it costs more money for them. But I do think that that's a valid point of, would more people do it if there was not only more testing, but just the ability to space them out? I mean, you can't even get, I believe all over America now, you can't just get a tetanus shot. You have to get the DTaP, which is one of the ones that a lot of people worry about.
I disagree. They still are filled with shit. They are still filled with the, like, for us, we're a vegan, vegetarian family. They got, like, African green monkey cells in them, and aluminum, and formaldehyde, and human tissues, mouse brains, cocker spaniel brains. People don't realize the crap in their vaccinations. So whether
there's still a lot going on there. You know what?
Yeah, I agree.
One second. I was so excited to get the show going. Real quick, we've got Steph. We got Amanda. We got Adria on here. She's and we've got
biting her lips.
I know, and we've got Amanda Campbell, and you can sort out the rest later, ladies and gentlemen. Go, let's go.
Okay, can I chime in?
Adria, what do you have?
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and completely disagree with everything that's been said so far on a couple of accounts here. So I am the craziest when it comes to feeding our children. You can ask my wife Stephanie. Our child is almost 4.5 years old. She's had juice, maybe besides orange juice, which she has like little sips of every now and then. But we're talking like a juice box, maybe 4 times in her life. She doesn't eat processed foods. I cook everything. I'm crazy when it comes to junk and you know, just, we're very, very careful.
Us too.
That
I actually, I grew up completely unvaccinated, so that was really one of the easiest parts of being a natural lifestylist of not doing vaccines, just because I grew up that way. But I'm completely the same way. Mine is 4, never had juice. I mean, cloth diapering, breastfeeding, the whole deal. I mean,
yeah, I agree. I breastfed the older one till she was 2, and I plan on doing the same with our almost 1-year-old now. Again, all of that, to me, I get that. If I'm going to go so far as to protect my children by what I feed them every day, Why would I ever leave an opportunity for them to catch a communicable disease that, by the way, is still around to this day, is still around because people aren't getting their children vaccinated.
Okay, vaccination. Let's talk about the MMR.
Wait. Let me finish.
I want to finish the mumps and the rubella. Let's go there.
Okay, let's let her finish the first thought, and then we're going to go to the MMR, of course.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Because if I'm gonna go so far to protect my child from drinking juice, right? Why in the world would I leave the opportunity for, God forbid, for her to catch one of these diseases that I could have prevented had I just gotten a simple
I think because from the anti-vaccine standpoint, and I've studied both sides of the equation, is that of course you have. Their only concern, I would believe, would be that what you're putting in is worse than the possible worse than death, I guess.
It's not worse than death.
Go ahead. Amanda, you got the floor.
Okay, so let's look at in 2014, the MMR, the measles, mumps, rubella, right? 288 cases of it, right? Because it's still out there. How much death did it cause? 0. 2013, 189 cases of measles. How much death? 0. Let's go all down.
That's 0. Because I have different information.
No, in 2012, there was 842 serious issues that related to the vaccination. How many deaths? 56 deaths. So the vaccination itself can cause the same thing. The measles can cause pneumonia and blindness.
Yeah. For me, I guess I choose natural immunity.
Just over here.
I'm sorry, what?
We're homeopathic, like natural.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I had chicken pox. I had measles as a kid. It was, I remember having measles. I was about 8 years old. And I was off school for maybe a week. My mom says I was a grumpy ass. I, slept a little bit more than, my normal amount. And she's like, and you were over it. And then I remember our neighbors had it and they were, the normal, fully vaccinated. Obviously, in the early 80s, quite a few less vaccines than that are today. But they had it.
It's not deadly. It's measles. My God.
Right. Exactly. I don't know. For me, it's like, if I care so much about, cloth diapering and breastfeeding, why wouldn't I think about what is completely injected into my kid when I care so much about the outside environment and we only eat organic as often as we possibly can?
And that's exactly why you should care. Because of the fact that you're going so above and beyond.
Want to put
let her talk, Amanda.
No, I want to know why Adria chooses that. Why does she choose to put all this crap and formaldehyde and shit in your children's body, but yet you're going to watch
people put random sperm in their vagina? I don't know.
Here's why.
Are you thinking that I vaccinate? Is that what's going on here?
No, me. They're asking me.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Because I was like, yeah, no, that's definitely not me.
But I think we're all on the same side of we want to keep our children healthy.
Absolutely.
Correct.
100%.
So I go out of my way to scrub my children's hands like a psychopath. I strip them down when they come in from a German environment.
Stories. Yeah.
And if I'm going to go out of my way to feed them well and to make sure that they're cared for in every possible way I can, why would I ever, ever, ever let them have the chance of catching anything like that? I mean, we're not talking about a little sniffle. We're talking about a serious disease that could affect. And yes, you know what? You're right.
That was an epidemic that you got your child.
You're not going to die from it, but this is going to have lifelong. What'd you say? I'm having a hard time hearing.
What's the last thing that you had, that your daughter had, epidemic-wise, that she needed to be vaccinated for because it's been a recent epidemic?
But that's the thing. If we stop,
I have an answer to that.
Stephanie, let's let Stephanie
let's go.
So when my wife and I, the hot one on the end, were having kids, I didn't want to vaccinate. And It's
No,
not
you didn't
because
want to get a
of
flu
me.
shot.
I
That's
had
not the
zero
same thing.
education either way. I just thought, that doesn't sound good. I literally was Trump support. That sounds good. That doesn't to get it.
More ice cream.
So, yeah, whatever. And she was super passionate about vaccinating. So I was like, all right, I'll read up a little bit about it, whatever. So in turn, she was very passionate. I wasn't, and it wasn't like something that was important. However, what I will say is my wife is she's a teacher, so she's very focused on germs. And our daughter constantly washes her hands and constantly sanitizes. And when that her disease was going around, which was actually just the common cold, my daughter got it for like almost 10 days. And the average kid that came to our Halloween party that got it for a day or so. So Riley did get sick.
Not even true.
More bacteria.
Wash her hands. Let her little body build some fucking antibodies on her own.
I mean, he did it, and she got really sick because she didn't have the
Used to her vaccinations. Her poor body's been full of shit.
Oh Lord!
I don't know.
Let me just say.
So, I mean, now where it is, Adri wants to vaccinate. I support her from that perspective, but I also let my kids eat with their hands if they haven't washed their hands.
Hell yes.
And then when I see that, I come and punch you in the face. No, here's the thing. They just passed a law. No, this is good. They just passed a law last week that I just found out where doctors are now allowed to say, you know what, if you don't want to get vaccinated, we don't need to treat you. And so they have
that is in Michigan. That's been around for a while. There are quite a few pediatrician offices and even family doctors that are saying, okay, if you're not up to date by say this period of time, that we can drop you. Obviously, you can still have Medicaid, you can still have regular insurance and everything. But I think people think that it's going to be everywhere. We don't see a traditional doctor anymore. We don't have a primary. We just see a naturopath, and we do a chiropractor. But the doctor we were actually seeing, unfortunately, he retired last year, and we decided to not go with his PA. He himself and his children, he was very adamant about not vaccinating them. And I don't know if it's in other states, but in Michigan, there's actually quite a few doctors who are like, you know what, we want parents to decide. They kind of do almost an interview process where, are you educated on it? What are you just doing this because you saw a meme online that said, oh my God, they're filled with poison? Or do you really know what you're talking about? And I think, no matter what you believe, pro or anti, I think we do all just want what's best for our children. But I don't know, for me, it's like, if you've really read those inserts, if you've really read, the side effects and really gotten down to the nitty gritty, way past what Facebook says, way past what memes say.
I totally agree with you. And that's why I'm so pro, because I've read all of those things, because I've seen, and when you look around at what was going on, we're talking hundreds of years ago, before these vaccines, people were dropping like flies. If we don't continue this road where we're vaccinating our children, it's going to come back. And then it's going to become,
I have to disagree with you on, that vaccines are just the savior, because, this anti-vaccine, movement is not a new thing. I mean, there's dating back to the 1920s, and even in early suffragette times with women's rights, they talked about how they felt like it was almost the government's way of controlling and population control. I mean, that's way before internet. So when people say like, oh, you're just reading an online article, or you're, reading a meme, or you're just following Jenny McCarthy, like, this is, I mean, there's early articles and research that says it's not a new thing. I mean, I don't know. For me, the proof is in the pudding. I was homeschooled, but I went on to college and everything. And, like I said, I had measles and I had chicken pox, but
oh my God,
everyone who I
think I did too.
And like, besides, in all honesty, besides being a chubby chick, I've never been on any long-term medication. I don't have high blood blood sugar. I've never been on,
and that is really, really great. And I'm glad that, and I'm sure that the majority of the people who don't get vaccinated are just fine. And I hope that that's true. But what I'm
But you don't think that
I don't feel comfortable letting my child go through, let's fast forward 50 years, and now let's say this anti-vaccine movement is getting bigger and bigger, and now you're going to start to see the diseases trickle in, and now let's pretend it's 50 years. I have the choice of sending my child to school, and I don't want her to go to school when there's other kids in that school who didn't get vaccinated. That's where we're going to be. And that's a big deal. And you know what? I see it every day because I'm in a school with I have 30 some kids in my class right now. And
do you think the schools
they can't even come in? They're not even allowed.
To the Amanda to the power of 2, do you think the schools, and I know that you homeschool, Amanda, I'm not sure about you, another Amanda, another Amanda.
Just call her queer.
Homeschools.
Do you homeschool, Amanda, number 2?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, Campbell, Mrs. Campbell.
Oh yes, I plan to homeschool my 4-year-old. We kind of do an unschooling thing.
So we see you have a trend here.
Yeah, but Carol,
what the
fuck? For me, we actually make it known that if any of our friends who I only have like 2 friends actually that still vaccinate, but if they get any vaccines, we ask that they not play with us or come over for a period of usually 30 days if it's a live vaccine. So
have the freaking strain of the actual virus that's inserted into them. Like
exactly.
You also realize too that what they're that to me sounds like you're saying people who don't do the whole full research. If you did the full research, you would. What do they say about that? Tell me what you've read where they're putting this live vaccine in and what it's going to do, because that's like people who say you're going to get the flu if you get the flu shot.
Okay,
well,
it's only a strain of the actual virus. It doesn't actually have the bacteria that's going to live in it, okay? So you're going to still have some symptoms because guess what? Your body, whoever is getting it, has to build antibodies and immunity to it. So the vaccine is helping them do that. So they're not doing it naturally. So I get that why I get vaccinated.
Can I just say something? I still don't give a shit. You guys are not giving me either way. It's still not affecting me either way.
Dude, because your wife is on the show. Like, I care your opinion.
I think that this is
I'm going to give an education side. There is no educated person on the panel. None of us went to school for it, and I really rarely find anyone who says, yes, this is actually the way it should be. So I feel like I tend to side with the person that actually studied it. So what is that evidence?
So much.
Yeah, you're gonna get the same opinions from 2 different people who study it. Those stuff. That's the entire.
I feel like that's what
I don't know what.
That's the entire.
I don't know if I can tell my side at all, and I don't know if I can say. I would like to say my side of somebody who does study that type of thing. Not only did I have full support of our doctor before he retired 2 months ago, but my husband, after he went into radiology, he went into pediatric radiology, and now he does cardiology work. And the doctor he works under kind of did some extensive research on it. And when my husband has worked in the NICU doing radiology or cardiology, one of the first things that they make sure of is they ask if you've had any live vaccines in the last 30 days. And they actually don't allow you to work with certain children and individuals with that because, no one is saying, okay, if you're, at least in the hospitals here, this is just what I'm saying.
That
no
is
one is
definitely
saying.
Because when our 4-day-old was sick, the friggin' doctor in the ER tried to come at our infant with a cold, and Adrian went, "Whoa, are you sick?" And they're like, They had nothing to say about it.
And then the other doctors there were trying to convince me that it was okay for her to stay in the room, and I was like, "Get out!" Are you?
So where do you live? I want to move there.
And guess why? Because she didn't have any vaccines yet.
That is exactly what.
I have to ask Adria, do you have Lysol and a bunch of fucking Clorox wipes around your house everywhere?
Not everywhere, but we do have some.
Okay.
See, we don't even use anything like that. I'm a big like essential oil fan. Like that was the easy part for me. You know, as a non-vaccinating parent, that was one of the things, like, I know that I have to take responsibility upon myself to do other things to promote healthiness in our lifestyle. We do essential oils. We go to the chiropractor every week. I'm very, very hands-on. You know, we wash hands. I'm not crazy about germs because I do feel like it builds up the immunity and things like that. But, you know, for us, if I don't allow chemicals in her body, why would I allow them in our house, in our cleaning products? And, you know, of course I do what I can. And
how do you
He's
clean your
not
house?
drinking the Lysol.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wait, I'm curious. What do you use if you don't use like products like that?
You can use vinegar, which is natural, and essential oils. Those
For
are all
sure.
natural. Hey, I want to plug in a book, you guys, really quick. It's called The Vaccine Book.
Yeah.
It's by Dr. Sears. He does not say to vaccinate or to not. He fills
Right.
this book full of information. And I think if you guys are questioning vaccinations or not, totally check out this book. It's really awesome. And he lists all of
Well,
like
now I'm questioning cleaning. I booked the vaccine. I want to know how to clean my house. It's cheaper.
honestly chemicals. I'm telling you what, cancer.
Look at my wife straight. She's like, you will not clean the dirt.
I do want to say something about, I'm glad you brought up Dr. Sears, because he is actually one of the ones that, even though he's a more holistic side of doctor, he's being investigated right now for malpractice just because he's saying, I want to give my patients a choice. And yet he's saying, I'm not saying be anti or pro. I'm merely saying ask some questions.
Yes.
And like you were saying in the beginning, Carol, this one size fits all. I just don't understand how the same flu shot I would give my 12-month-old, and yet a man that's 250 pounds is getting the same.
They're not.
They are getting the same.
They're
It
not
is the
getting
exact
the
same shot.
It's not the same dose. They have a different
Really?
It has the exact same.
And by the way,
It is the exact same dose. I'm not sure where you're hearing that, but it's the exact same dose. Most of the vaccines now are coming pre-prepared because it's cheaper, especially if you're a Medicaid
I
person.
just asked this question 4 months ago when my 4-year-old had her 4-year shots, and they said, no, of course, it's a different dosage.
Of course they're going to say that.
Yeah, they also will give you a little flyer with a few information on like side effects, but that's not the real insert. Real inserts in vaccines are usually 4 to 7 pages long. And I'm sorry, but when you have a child in an office, you're not sitting there and reading these 4 to 7 pages. You're going to listen to the doctor who's saying, don't you worry, if they get a fever, it's totally normal. If you get, seizures afterwards, I'm sorry, but a normal, healthy child does not get seizures.
Another thing is an article that just came out. The CDC admits that their vaccination
Our kid had a seizure 3 days ago, and it's not vaccine related.
Okay,
Yeah.
the
Thank
CDC
God.
admits that their vaccination
I always thought she was.
the
Sorry.
DTaP causes food allergies. Your child, by the time they are 6 years old, receives 5 doses of this. And guess what the tetanus risk, like disease risk is? And they're given 5 doses by the time your child is 6.
Right.
1 in 500,000. Yeah, dose my child up for that shit.
Well, unless your child is
right? Is that what you're saying?
Unless your child is rolling around in horse poop and you live on a farm, it's most likely you're not going to get tetanus, as well as they're handing tetanus out like it's candy because you get a scratch. Even for bruises now, and if a wound bleeds at all, tetanus cannot live in oxygen. So as soon as it bleeds, you're not at risk of this tetanus.
Our world is so over-medicated. What is wrong with people? It's like mental illness. They're going to give you medication for it. And guess what? Does that person ever learn how to deal with it? No.
Right.
No, but they don't.
Right. Now I will say this.
I'm going to give Adria the floor for a second. What were you going to say, Adria?
I can't even remember where I was. Oh, I know. Yes, you can get tetanus by itself. Yes, you can break up vaccines if you would like to. However, there is no reason, there is no study whatsoever proving that if you separate them, if you're better off. Now, I have 2 of my
closest MMR, though, can you?
What's that?
You can't break up the MMR though.
No, you
I
can't.
don't think you can break up MMR now, but you can break up. Two of my closest girlfriends have 4-year-olds just like ours.
Yeah.
They both separate their shots. They both questioned why I didn't, and they're both giving their shots. They're both They're both, getting the full vaccines. They're just not doing it all at once. Yeah. Why do you give them all at once? Okay. Well, here's why. If I'm dragging my kid into a germ-filled doctor's office anyway, let's get it over with. If she's already going to get shots and get all upset and worked up, let's get it over with. Especially since there is no evidence whatsoever that proves that separating them is going to be either beneficial or harmful in any way. There is no evidence proving that if you wait 6 weeks in between, you're going to be better off. Or that if you get them all together, you're going to get sick. Zero.
Is what this really comes down to, is this a difference of opinion in the mistrust of the government? Because what I see a lot is the pro-vacciners stating, my doctor says this, the government says this, the scientists say this, and the anti-vacciners going, that's the man, that's the lizard, that's the Illuminati, that's all these people.
The Illuminati.
You know what I'm saying?
I completely agree.
It really is true. If you listen to both sides of the argument, and I've been entrenched in it for what feels like 2 years now, ever since I started dating Nicole to this point today. And I think that the problem is that all of the anti-vacciners, they don't look at any of the credentials of the pro-vacciners seriously, because they don't believe in big business. They don't believe in the government. They don't believe in the scientists.
I totally have trust issues with the government. I do, believe me. But I also trust that doctors who have saved people in my life because of their medications are not giving me bullshit.
Because of their what?
Because of their medications.
Medications.
Now, I have something to say about that.
Over if there was no medication for her. So yes, do I have trust and faith in doctors and medications? Absolutely. Do I know that the truth is that if these people don't get vaccinated, like you're saying, oh, the odds of getting tetanus are 1 in 500,000. That's not great. You know what the odds of getting tetanus if you have a tetanus shot are? 0. I'm going with those.
No,
that's actually not true.
No, that is 100%. There is no vaccination that's 100%.
Okay,
exactly.
I shouldn't say 0.
I do want to say
No, I want her to say a number. She said 0.
Okay, hang on. We'll check out the number so I can give you some facts on this.
All right, guys, this is what I want to do. I want to let our guests have the final say. Adria, your final statement in 1 minute or less.
I just think that, again, we all are on the same side. We want our children to be healthy. We want our children to thrive. I do anything to keep them healthy. I'm not going to risk it. I'm a gambler, but I'm not gambling with them when it comes to their health.
Can I have a final say?
After Amanda. Amanda, go ahead.
I think for me, I don't have distrust that medication does save lives. But for me, I just choose natural immunity because 30 years ago, doctors were saying asbestos was safe. 30 years ago, doctors were saying smoking cigarettes was safe. What are they going to say in 30 years about vaccines? I mean, science is constantly growing and constantly changing. And for me, there's so many other ways to be healthy. Why would I trust something that if something went wrong, I couldn't sue them because of it? Would I buy a toy that if my child got hurt from it, that I couldn't sue them? Would I especially buy a car seat if I couldn't sue the company if something went wrong?
Is that why you buy stuff? Because you could sue? Or are you going to buy it because it's keeping your kids safe?
I am saying...
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Stephanie.
I'm just saying that I think that there are many, many ways to keep our kids safe and healthy. And for us, there's way more choices than vaccines. And you know what? To each their own, and I respect everybody else's as long as they respect our opinion. And unvaccinated kids are not walking around with diseases, I promise.
All right, Stephanie, final thought.
My friend Rachel is commenting on our post. It says anti-vaxxers equal completely irresponsible and selfish humans. And what the best part is that she's probably one of the coolest people I know, but that's a very compassionate statement. So I think there is zero answer to this question at all. I still think you've got 50-50.
Exactly.
So here's what I propose. do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Amanda.
I mean, and I would like to say that everybody could agree to just let everybody do what they want, but unfortunately, the pro-vacciners are always going to feel like the unvaccinated kids are a danger, and the anti-vaccine kids are always going to feel that the pro-vaccine kids are either a danger or uninformed, or I don't know. You feel almost sorry from what I get from the anti-vacciners for people that don't understand the way of the world.
No, I don't care. I think I respect everybody and their opinion, and I will take any vaccinated child or unvaccinated child around my kids any day. Totally fine. How you parent, okay, but when you ask me for facts and my opinion, you better buckle down, sweetheart.
Yeah.
I'm exactly the same way. I just want my, people to just respect, just respect, because I would never post a meme that says you're dumb because you vaccinate.
Yeah.
I would never do something like that.
What a seriously thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen lots.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this more with Amanda and Adria among many different subjects. We're going to play a little bit of Russian roulette questioning on the second half hour. Make sure that you are signed up as an official Qualky Talkie member if you want to take part in the second half hour. Tonight was a whirlwind. I knew we were going to have to get to it fast and furious. We've just completely run out of time within the half hour. I didn't even remember to introduce our guests. Again, we had Amanda Campbell on the show tonight.
Hello.
Amanda, how many kids do you have? Where are you living at?
Me?
Yeah.
I am near Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I have a almost 4-year-old little girl who's a friggin' pistol, man.
I imagine she is after a half hour with you so far. Adria Bartash, beautiful, beautiful wife who gets more sexy as she gets angry, Stephanie, I have to say. As she gets a little,
oh my God.
as she gets a little fire there, eh? Adria, always a pleasure to have you. If everybody wants to get to know Stephanie's wife a little bit better on the other half hour, make sure you tune in as a Qualky Talkie member. Amanda, how are they getting there? Do you remember the instructions?
You get to the Qualky Talkie, go to the quackshow.world. You will see at the bottom it says explore our community. Sign up. It's super easy.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for partaking in what is often a deal-breaking conversation between friends and family. And join us on the other half hour as we have a lot more fun and action coming your way. Grab your coffee, grab your cocktails, and we will see you on the other side.